Hello. Hi.
All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if
The jail is ready. Good afternoon, Ms. Bridgewater. What are we having for a reset date?
SAP reset date is July the 1st.
All right, and we don't have one tomorrow, correct?
Yeah, I'm scheduled to be here. Are you?
Yes, I am, but
Okay, well, we'll see each other tomorrow.
the crickets. Okay. All right. Courtroom 2 is ready. Mr.
I
McClellan, we all set to go?
I have a question.
We good?
Is there an add-on calendar?
I didn't see one. Ms. Bridgewater, do you have an add-on calendar?
Received an email saying that there was, but I have not received one as of yet.
Is the name Warner on that calendar?
On the
Mr.
ad,
Warner went to felony first appearance, was going to felony first appearance tomorrow,
Is that
Mr.
11?
McLean.
Is that 11 or 11:30?
11.
And do you know the link or later on? You can.
Do not have the link, and
I'll
unfortunately.
get his mom the link later on this afternoon when court.
Okay,
I'll send it to her. Thank you.
thank you. And Miss Bridgewater, as far as Taylor Bracey, which is the other potential, was the potential add-on,
mhm.
we're still having issues bringing the case over, getting it an SG number and giving it a CR number. It is a bind over from municipal court where she has been given a first appearance. So we will handle her tomorrow just because we're having a technical issue with Odyssey where we can't even give her an SG number, give her a CR number, run a GCIC at this point.
No problem.
We're a little
And
stuck.
just so you know, I received that order on Drew.
Thank you.
You're
Your Honor,
welcome.
just to let you know, position number 4, Mr. Herbert Drew, Judge Besson addressed that case as part of a bond revocation hearing this morning. She did give him a $5,000 surety bond as well as conditions, so he has had a first appearance before Judge Besson this morning as part of the revocation hearing that she handled on his prior case.
Sounds good. Who represents Herbert Drew, position number 4?
He was represented by private counsel at the revocation hearing, and I think Judge just decided to handle it all together.
All right. And so we're going to further notice this case to July 1st, correct?
Yes, he is
Yeah.
going on the SAP calendar.
Good, you got an earful today already.
That's all right. Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judge Lal, and this is going to be the first appearance calendar for misdemeanor cases with the State Court of Fulton County. It's called the Expedited Accusation Calendar because as soon as individuals are booked at the Fulton County Jail, their cases are then formally accused. So when I address your case, I will let you know your new accusation number, what are the charges brought against you, to appoint counsel where necessary, set a bond, and also give you a new court date if necessary. With regards to bond, some of you may possibly qualify for what we call a signature or release bond, and in which case you will not have to pay for the bond today, but you will have to comply with certain conditions in order to maintain the signature bond. Otherwise, others may possibly receive either a surety bond or a good bond, which you would have to post bond to a bonding company, or you can post a cash bond. So when either event, when I address your case, please remember that you have a right to remain silent. Anything that you say in open court during this virtual proceeding that's not only being recorded, but live streamed, if you choose to say anything during these proceedings, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you. Now, if you are a victim or a family friend or someone here in support, please keep your video off and your Zoom panel on mute. You may come into a proceeding when you want to address a particular case. Courtroom 2, who do we have?
Judge, we got position 16, Ms. Vance.
Yeah, we do have a request from ACDC.
I'm sorry, courtroom 2 was muted. What was the request?
ACDC was wondering if they could do Shaw first because that would be a security thing. It'd be great.
There's some MH issues, and this has been reset twice, Your Honor, so if we could get her addressed.
All right, ACDC, if you'd like to come on, I'll be right back with courtroom 2.
Okay, have her sit. Because we're on camera, have her sit elsewhere for a sec.
ACDC has not, I don't see them on the Zoom. So let,
Okay, let's go on then. I understand. Thank you. We tried.
16, Ms. Vance.
thank you. This is state versus Tiashia Nishik Vance. Miss Vance has got 5 misdemeanor offenses charged against her stemming from a June 12, 2025 incident. The accusation number is 25 CR 3400G. The charges are 2 counts of battery family violence, 2 counts of simple battery family violence, and 1 count of cruelty in the 3rd degree. Ms. Vance, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Mr. McLean. Any priors, Mr. Howard?
Get the rest. 2019 battery DV. She got PTI. 2019 possession of marijuana. No law. She got an open case in Superior Court. 24 PI 009-500. It's terrorist threats. That's a pretrial bond.
And what was the bond amount?
It's a UJR.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That was 009-500. Okay, thank you. Mr. Nixon, what's the recommendation for bond?
Yes, Your Honor. The recommendation, well, the incident occurred June 12th, where the defendant bit Mr. Jared Gurley, the victim, on the upper and lower portions of his left arm, kicked him in the groin and pushed him in the left arm and pulled his hair with enough force to detach it from his scalp. The defendant threw his cell phone device at him, striking him in the face and causing visible bruising under his right eye. The victim also had bruising and pain on his upper and lower left forearm from the defendant biting him. And the minor child, initials JG, was present during this altercation. I wanted to bring up the facts in this case because the 2024 terroristic threats, this case, the felony terroristic threats was against the same victim. So the defendant was arrested in 2024 for felony terroristic threats against Mr. Jared Burley, threatening to kill him. So with that in mind, Your Honor, the state is recommending a $2,000 surety for the battery family violence, $2,000 surety for the other count of battery family violence, $1,000 surety for the cruelty to children in the 3rd degree, and $1,500 surety per simple battery family violence. No further contact with the victim, Jared Gurley. Stay away from 6830 Old Becerra Way. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond, and FVIP. The state will also ask the court to sound for the victim when appropriate.
Jared Gurley, if you're on Zoom, this is the time to unmute and start your video. Jared Gurley.
Yes, can you hear me?
We can't see you.
Hold on.
Mr. Gurley, all right. Take your hat off, and if you want to address the court, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Are you also the alleged victim in another prior case in Superior Court?
Yes, ma'am. I just also wanted to say that I wasn't the ones who contacted law enforcement on this particular case. Like, I don't want my child's mother to be going through anything. And yes, we did have a disagreement and, stuff happens. It was a relationship spat, but we both agreed to separate. We both agreed to take, anger management and domestic classes together.
Were you arrested also in the 2024 case?
No, ma'am.
Were you arrested in this case?
No, ma'am.
So you've been identified as the person who did not initiate or was not the initial aggressor.
Yes, what I'm saying is I didn't contact law enforcement.
Well,
Also, I guess the neighbors, but I mean, we had a spat. I just don't want her in there. I don't want her going through anything.
so you're willing to bond her up?
Yes, ma'am. Whatever I need to do. I know it looked ugly on paper, but we got to raise our child together. We have a 7-month-old, and that's the only thing that matters to both of us.
Who's looking after the child?
She's with her mom at the moment.
The grandmother?
Yes, ma'am, grandmother.
All right. So currently, Miss Vance is under a bond order from Superior Court in a felony case to have no violent contact with Jared Gurley. So that's now a violation of the bond. So I don't know what the Superior Court's going to do about that. But in the meantime, Mr. McLean, what's your position?
Based on everything I've heard, I would ask the court to consider a signature bond. If not that, then a $100 to $1,500 surety. She is, let's see. Although born in South Carolina, it was very near to Georgia, just a few miles over. She's essentially a Georgian because she has a Georgia address, Georgia driver's license, I believe, and she has jobs here. She has worked in the hospitality industry for a hotel, I believe it was, and she has had 3 jobs also in the restaurant industry. Her 2 years of college were studying political science. She has not yet finished her degree. So we would ask the court to consider a lower bond than the state feels appropriate, but we would ask the court for that for her. Thank you.
On the battery family violence, it's going to be 2,000. The cruelty is going to be 500. That's count 1 and count 2, and that's a surety bond. Counts 3, 4, and 5, that's going to be a 1,000 each. And that's going to be a signature bond through pretrial services per judge. She's to have no further contact with Jared Gurley. She's to stay 200 yards away from him and not communicate with him in any way, form, or manner. She's also not to share the same housing with him. So if she's sharing the same home with him, she has to leave the premises and update the court with her new address within 30 days. If Mr. Gurley wishes to have contact with the child that he shares with Ms. Vance, he shall file a legitimation action and get a court-ordered visitation and custody plan. Presently, she's already under a felony charge under 24 PI 009-500. I don't know what's going to happen to that bond. That's up to Superior Court. But Ms. Vance, I'll tell you right now, if you violate this bond order, the likelihood of you being released the next time from jail would be very, very small. Okay? So, and also within 30 days of being released, you will enroll in a domestic violence intervention program. This is a 26-week program, and you will have to enroll and pay for those classes out of your own pocket. So if Mr. Gurley wants to see you, you will end up in jail. If Mr. Gurley wants to see the child, he'll need to go to Superior Court and file a legitimation action and get a court order for joint visitation, joint custody, and you can ask for child support at that time. And you are to enroll into those classes and make sure you give us a new address within 30 days from today. You report to pretrial once a month. That's
Can I
what,
say one thing, Judge?
yes, sir?
So I actually left the house. So would she still have to leave the house since I left already?
I don't have any verification of that.
Do I need to, ma'am?
Who is on the lease?
She is.
Do you have a copy of the lease?
I don't have it, but she's on the lease by herself, so
All right.
I left the house.
I'll allow her to go to the property one time only with a police officer. And if she confirms with the leasing office that you have vacated the premises, then she's allowed to return to the property.
Okay.
Thank you. Our next court date is going to be July 1st,
What level was that?
level 1. So it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,500 split bond. Is it 2, 3, 4, 5, 5,500 split bond, excuse me. ACDC, are you still on? Oh, okay, they're not on yet. Next case in courtroom 2.
Position 2, Ms. Channer.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
Mr. Gurley, you're free to go. This is State versus Lachey Channer, 25 CR 3399B, accused of simple assault, battery, and simple battery from June 16th, 2025. Ms. Channer, you've been advised of your rights and your attorney is going to be Ms. Tucker. Any priors, Mr. Howard?
6, 2025 theft conviction, 2022 theft arrest, 2013 assault dismissed. Her history comes from out of state.
Which state?
I forgot. Was it Maryland? It might have been Maryland.
I think it's Alabama.
Alabama?
Oh, we
Okay.
in Alabama. Oh, good afternoon, Your Honor.
All right, big difference between Alabama and Maryland the last time I checked, but either matter, what's the state's recommendation?
Your Honor, the state's recommendation here is a signature bond through pretrial services to stay away from the incident location and no contact with the victim, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol. This incident occurred on June 16th. Officers responded to a dispute at the apartment complex located at 565 Hank Aaron Drive, specifically to Unit 3011. When they knocked at the doors, they identified themselves as members of Atlanta Police Department. And they heard a female shouting from inside, "Help me." And they weren't hearing any other responses. They decided to force the door open, and just as they were about to, Mr. Elijah Noel, who's the victim in this case, approached and opened the door. And he confirmed that Ms. Shanner, the defendant, was the one who had been calling for help earlier. So officers entered the apartment. They noticed that there was various items scattered across the apartment, showing signs of a dispute. And the defendant had scratches on his arms and a small streak of blood on his shirt. Officers interviewed each party individually, and the defendant did indicate that she was attempting to get her belongings from the location and leave, and Mr. Noel was trying to stop her and convince her to remain at the location. She did acknowledge that there was a physical altercation, and she admitted to swinging at Mr. Noel, but she did tell officers that she missed when she attempted to swing at him. The scratches on him were the result of her nails, as she scratched him when he was trying to restrain her. Officers at the scene did not see any visible signs of physical injuries or marking on Ms. Shanner. And the victim confirmed the events as well.
Okay.
And the history,
Go ahead.
Judge, it's out of Maryland.
Okay.
Is that a Maryland?
Yeah, I
Oh,
think when you
that's-
saw Montgomery County PD, you assume Alabama. Nah, it's out of Maryland.
Thank you. That's a good
Yeah.
catch.
Okay, Miss Tucker, any objection to the stay away and no contact?
We have no objections to the stay away, as well as we do have an objection to no contact due to them having no prior issues and them being in a relationship. We're asking that they are allowed to have contact and that they have no violent contact from here on out.
Any particular reason?
They are in a relationship.
Not according to the warrant. She was trying to
According to Ms. Channer, when I spoke with her, she's requesting that she be able to maintain contact with the alleged victim in this case. She stated that they've had no prior issues other than this one-time incident in regards to any domestic disputes, and she's requested that she be allowed to have contact.
And Your Honor, the state's position is no contact because we have not been able to get in contact with the victim, Mr. Noel, in this case.
I'm going with no contact just because of the nature of the warrant. I understand if Ms. Channer may have a change of mind, but the nature of the warrant that allegedly led to this instigation, we're going to keep it at no contact. On the
Yes,
simple
Your Honor.
assault is 500, on the battery is 1,000, and the simple battery is 500. This is a 2,000 signature bond through pretrial services, level 1. No contact with Elijah Noel and stay away from the 565 Hank Aaron Drive in Atlanta. She can return one time only with a police officer if she still needs to retrieve her private belongings. She reports to pretrial once a month, and she'll need to complete one anger awareness class with pretrial. No illegal drugs, alcohol, and weapons. Thank you.
Got position 1, Mr. Barty.
This is State versus Ryan Barty, accused of theft of services from the Roswell Collision and Repair from June 13th of this year, case 25 CR 3397F. Mr. Barty, you've been advised of your rights. Your attorney is Ms. Tucker. And Mr. Howard, any priors?
It's third. 07 larceny. Jail was the recommendation.
All right. And Ms. Harrison, what's the alleged value of the services?
Upgrade.
I have $850, Your Honor.
Okay. Right now the bond is going to be 2,500. It's going to be a signature bond through pretrial services, level 1, and stay away from the Roswell Collision and Repair at 56 Norcross Street. He's to report to pretrial once a month, and if he gets arrested again, please be sure to bring $2,500 with you when you come back to jail. Next court date will be sent to his current address, so make sure we have a current address. If he returns to the repair shop anytime, he can be arrested again for trespass. And his where's the car? Is it with the repair shop? Does he have any reason to go back to the shop?
He did previously, prior to his arrest, he actually was in contact with the owner and he set up a payment plan. So I believe he does have his vehicle back. The owner actually didn't want to press charges because he's paying for the repairs.
All right. The state can consider a dismissal of the case once the prosecutor gets confirmation that all payments are made in full.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Got position 3, Mr. DePelier, Brian DePelier.
It's a first.
Okay.
Okay.
Give me that position number again, please. Oh,
Position 3, Judge.
3. Okay, thank you. Brian Depardieu is accused of criminal trespass, simple battery, family violence, and battery, family violence from May 6th of this year. Case number 25 CR 3398Y. Mr. Depardieu, you've been advised of your rights. Your attorney is going to be Ms. Tucker. This is a first arrest. Let me see. I've already read the warrants, Ms. Harrison. I was going to go with 500 on count 1, 500 on count 2, and 1,000 on count 3. No further contact with Sydney Dilliard and stay away from the Marsh Trail Circle. Any objection?
No, Your Honor, I just would like to put the facts on the record if you would
Very
allow it.
Please, I
Yes.
understand. Okay, go ahead. Very brief.
Yes, Your Honor. On May 6th, officers responded to a domestic dispute at 1718 Marsh Trail Circle in Sandy Springs. They met with the victim, Miss Sandy Dillard, who stated that her and the defendant were no longer living together. He had moved out 2 days ago. He came to her apartment and they got into a verbal argument. And he subsequently punched her in the face and smashed 2 lighters to the ground and her cell phone, which cracked her screen protector. And he then left the apartment.
Okay.
We would also like to sound for Miss Dilliard.
All right.
And we
Is it
got your bond.
is it Sydney or Sandy Dilliard?
Sydney.
All right, Sydney Dilliard, if you're on Zoom, this will be the time to chime in. Ms. Tucker, we good with the stay away and no contact?
Stay away.
We have no
Okay.
objections, Your Honor.
All right. As I said, it's 500 on count 1, 500 on count 2, and 1,000 on count 3. It's a $2,000 signature bond to pretrial services. Mr. Depardieu, do you still live in Treon, Georgia?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you have to make an appointment and visit pretrial services in downtown Atlanta once a month. You're not to have any contact with Sydney Dilliard. You have to stay 200 yards away from her and not communicate with her in any way, form, or manner. You're also required to stay away from 1718 Marsh Trail Circle in Sandy Springs. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. You are also to enroll in a domestic violence intervention program. Within 30 days of being released, you can do these classes online or in person. They are a series of 26 classes. And once you complete them, you need to provide your certificate of completion to pretrial services. This may also help you in a long way to resolve this case against you without any adverse impact. Thank you.
At level 1, Judge.
I'm sorry?
You said level 1.
Level 1, yes, sir.
Got position 5, Mr. Eppinger.
Marcus Eppinger is accused of one count of battery, family violence, criminal trespass, and one count of simple battery, family violence, and one count of simple assault, family violence, involving a Lageria Lewis. Case number is 25 CR 3396Y. Mr. Eppinger, you've been advised of your rights, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Tucker. Any priors, Mr. Howard?
25. Open case out of Clayton County. Fleeing an officer theft by receiving. Open case out of Mississippi, 2 counts of controlled substance. Felon carrying concealed weapon. He's on parole for Violent Dangerous Drugs Act. He has a parole hold. 2022 FTA probation. Want me to keep going?
No, we're good. Thank you. Ms. Harrison?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred on December 6, 2024. Officers were dispatched to 1536 Rogers Avenue in response to a domestic call. They met with the victim, Ms. Lewis, who stated that she was assaulted by her children's father when she was dropping them off at the above location. The location is a neutral location. It is the children's grandmother's house. She was dropping the children off, and the defendant began to speak to her. She told him to stop speaking to her as she was quiet and not responding to him. And when she tried to leave, he pushed her down the stairs and poured oil on her. They started arguing. Family members separated them, and Miss Lewis subsequently got in her vehicle to leave. As she was about to leave, the defendant threw a rock through her front windshield, causing damages. We did speak. I'm sorry. Officers at the scene did notice visible injury on her right cheek and damage on the front windshield. We did speak to the victim today. She stated that her and the defendant are not in a relationship. They do share 2 children together. This is the grandmother's residence where she drops off the kids frequently. She confirmed the events in the warrant and stated that the damage to the windshield is approximately $650. This is not the first time the defendant has been violent to her. And they had an incident in Memphis, and we had that he had 3 arrests out of Tennessee for vandalism, and at least one of those incidents were against her. She hasn't had any contact with him since 2022, which is in reference to the incident in Memphis. And she would like to keep transferring the children the way that she has. She's not in fear of the defendant and is okay with no violent contact. The state's recommendation is a $4,000 surety bond, no further violent contact with Ms. Lewis, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond, and completion of an anger awareness course, and will sound for Ms. Lewis at this time, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Lageria Lewis, if you're on Zoom, you can chime in through the video and audio. All right. Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Eppinger is a 30-year-old Atlanta native. He has an 11th grade education. He's currently self-employed. He works as a retailer, and he also sells clothes. As the state mentioned, he does have 2 children that he shares with the alleged victim here, an 8-year-old and a 7-year-old. The incident date here is from December 2024, so there has been a substantial cooling off period, and there hasn't been any additional allegations of this nature between the parties. So we are asking that they are allowed to have no further violent contact, and continue to use third party. He stated that they typically transfer the children through his sister. The incident location is his grandmother's residence, so we are asking that he be allowed to return to the incident location. And we are asking for a signature bond on his behalf at this time.
All right. Okay, I thought someone chimed in. Okay, on the battery family violence, that's going to be 2,500 surety. The criminal trespass is going to be 1,000 surety. The simple battery and the simple assault are going to be 2,500 each, and that's going to be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial services level 2. So that's going to be a total of a 75, no, am I right? 25, 35, 8,500 split bond. No further contact with Lageria Lewis. He's to stay 200 yards away from her and not communicate with her in any way, form, or manner. No contact with the 2 children in question until he files a legitimation action. and obtains a court order for third-party visitation and joint custody. Also, while he's on pretrial, he will report twice a month, and he will enroll in a domestic violence intervention program and complete all 26 classes. He's to enroll within 30 days. No illegal drugs, no alcohol. He'll be subject to random screens, and he's not allowed to own or possess any firearms, none on his person, in his home, in a vehicle, or anywhere near him. Thank you.
Mr. Per Judge Holly.
Yeah. Next court date is July 1st. The likelihood of making bond is going to be limited since he's got a parole hold as well. Thank you.
Position 8, Mr. Jones.
Deshaun Jones, case 25 CR 3391A, is accused of simple assault and simple battery involving a Destiny Jones. Alleged incident date is March 26th of this year. Case number 25 CR 3391A. Mr. Jones, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Tucker. Any prize?
What number is this?
Position 8, Deshaun Jones.
All he had was a drug charge that was dismissed. That's it.
Okay. So this is second cycle. Okay. Ms. Harrison?
Yes, Your Honor. On March 26, officers responded to a dispute called involving a firearm at 649 Prior Street Southwest. When they arrived, they met with the victim, Ms. Destiny Jones, who advised that she'd had an altercation, a verbal altercation with her brother, the defendant, and that resulted in a firearm being pulled out. She stated that the argument progressed into a shouting exchange, and their mother, at the time, Miss Patricia Jones, woke up from her sleep due to the shouting exchange and stepped in between the two of them. Miss Destiny proceeded to walk off to her room to leave the situation, and that's when the defendant pulled a handgun out from his waistband and just held it there. And his mother was subsequently able to get him to put the handgun back in his waistband once the argument had cooled off. He left the scene on foot, and officers were able to pull up his picture on their patrol NDT, and Ms. Jones confirmed that that indeed was her brother. We did speak to Ms. Jones today. She stated that they are siblings. The incident location is their mother's residence, and they were visiting at the time. She confirmed the events in the warrant. She did state the defendant did not point the gun at her, but stated like nothing like this has ever happened before. She stated they have been living at the incident location since this incident happened, and there hasn't been any violence. So she's not in fear of the defendant and would like to continue contact. The state's recommendation, Your Honor, is a $3,000 surety bond, no further violent contact with Ms. Jones, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while on bond, and surrender all firearms to Fulton County Sheriff's Office. And we'll sound for Ms. Jones at this time.
Destiny Jones, if you want to chime in, do you need to start your video and unmute? All right, Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Jones is a 20-year-old Atlanta native. He's completed a high school education. He's not currently employed at the moment. He said it's due to this warrant. Once he found out about it, it prevented him from gaining employment. And once he found out about the warrant, he turned himself in. The incident occurred in March, so there's been a substantial cooling down period. We are asking that he be allowed to continue having contact with his sister, and ask that they have no further violent contact. We are requesting a signature bond on his behalf. It's only his second arrest. He has no prior failure to appears on his record. And he is an Atlanta resident and Atlanta native. So that's what we're requesting for him.
Okay, thank you. On the simple assault, that's going to be a $1,500 surety bond. On the simple battery, it's going to be a $1,500 signature bond through pretrial services level 1. No violent contact with Destiny Jones. He may return to the prior street if his mother lets him back home. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no firearms. When he reports to pretrial, within 30 days, he must provide pretrial with proof that he has surrendered any and all firearms to the police for destruction. His next court date will be sent to his current address. If he changes his address, he'll need to update the address with the clerk's office within 30 days. So this is a $3,000 split bond. Next court date is July 1st.
Got position 9, Mr. Kayat.
This is State versus Mohammed Kayad, 25 CR 3389D, accused of battery, family violence. And that would be 2 counts of battery, family violence, simple battery, family violence, and cruelty in the 3rd degree from June 16th of this year. Mr. Kayad, you've been advised of your rights, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Tucker. Any prize?
Yeah.
Fourth arrest. All he got is assault, drugs, and trespass.
All? Okay. Mr. Nixon?
Yes, Your Honor. This occurred on June 16th, 2025. Officer was dispatched to 1677 Dorsey Avenue in East Point, and upon arrival, officer spoke to Miss First Name Iriona, last name Glass. The victim, who stated that her boyfriend, the defendant, pushed her down to the ground and made her hit her head, causing visible bodily injury to her forehead. States that alcohol was involved. Glass reported that the defendant had alcohol and drugs or unknown drugs, which when this occurs, he becomes confrontational. Ms. Glass stated that the defendant had become upset and he threw his plate of food at her. In response, she threw her food at him. And she stated that at that time, they both began arguing with one another. She stated that they both stood up from the couch and she attempted to go inside the bedroom. This is when Mr. Kaya, the defendant, pushed her onto the ground, causing her to strike her forehead on a chair. Ms. Glass stated that her eyes began burning, blood began running down her forehead, and she stated that this is when she grabbed her minor child, initials BW, out of the bedroom and took off running down the street. Now, we've been able to speak with the victim, our office did, and the victim and defendant are in a relationship. She stated that they do not live together, they do not share any children. Victim stated that the incident location is the defendant's friend's house that he is currently staying with, and stated that she came to the location to visit the defendant. The victim did confirm the events in the warrant, but denies that her child witnessed the incident and stated that nothing like this has ever happened before. Stated that she is not in fear of the defendant and wants to continue contact. As such, and per the criminal history, Your Honor, with the facts in this particular warrant, the state's going to recommend a $500 surety for the battery, family violence, $500 surety for the cruelty to children 3rd degree, $500 surety for the count 3 battery, family violence, and another $500 surety for the last count, simple battery, family violence. No further violent contact with Ms. Glass, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. FVIP, and the state would ask that the court sound for the victim when appropriate.
Irona Glass, if you'd like to contribute, you need to start your video and unmute.
Hi. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry to start.
Cannot see you.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. My front camera's kind of broken, so I kind of have to hold it a certain type of way.
All right. Raise your right hand.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's kind of a weird, spacey kind of image.
Sorry, it's my
Okay.
front camera's broke. Sorry.
All right. So this occurred about 2 days ago. Sounds pretty brutal. Why do you share the same place with him?
Well, we currently both were kind of like in between places at the moment.
Do you live in the same place with him?
No, ma'am, I do not.
And has he legitimated the child that you share with him?
No, not as of right now, no, ma'am. But we were planning
Opened
to
a
do
child
that.
support case against him.
Excuse me?
Have you opened a child support case against him?
No, ma'am.
All right. I'm not going to let him have any contact with you right now.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And if you just help him violate that, he'll be back in jail with no bond.
Yes, ma'am.
That's just the way. And if you want to pursue child support, make sure you open that case. And if he wants to see the child, he'll need to file a legitimation action.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else to add?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Mr. Kayed is 35 years of age. He's lived in the Atlanta area for around 30 years. He's completed some college studying international relations. He's currently employed part-time as EMR transport. As they stated, the incident location was a friend's place. We were requesting no violent contact, but the court has ordered no contact. Due to the limited criminal history, he had only had 3 arrests prior to this and no failure to appears on his record. We are requesting a signature bond on all the counts on his behalf.
Okay, thank you. What's an EMR transport?
I believe for the ambulance, he said he transports dialysis patients to their appointment.
Sounds good. Thank you. On count 1 is going to be 2,000. Count 2 is going to be 1,000. Count 3 is going to be 1,000, and count 4 is going to be 1,000. This is going to be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial services, level 3. He will report to pretrial services once a week. He is to have no contact with Iona Glass and stay 200 yards away from where she lives, where she works, where she's physically located. He's not to communicate with her in any way, form, or manner. He's also to have no contact with any child or children that he shares with Miss Glass until he files a legitimation action and obtains a court order to establish joint visitation, joint custody, and maybe either supervised visitation or visitation through a third party. Within 30 days of being released, he will enroll in a domestic violence intervention program and attend and complete all 26 classes at his expense without missing or skipping any of the classes. He will also undertake a alcohol and drug evaluation and submit himself to any treatment. This must be done within 10 days of being released. As he's in the medical field, I'm sure he's familiar where to get this alcohol and drug evaluation. No illegal drugs, no alcoholics beverages, and definitely you cannot own or possess any firearms. Your next court date will be sent to your current mailing address. So make sure that within 30 days, you confirm your current address in writing with the clerk of state court. Thank you.
Got position 10, Mr. McKinnis.
Is ACDC still on hold?
They're not on yet, Judge.
Oh, I see them on, but I didn't know if they were ready. Position 10, we have Janelle Najee McKinnis, accused of theft by taking from June 17, 2025. Mr. McKinnis has been advised of his right to remain silent, and his attorney is Mr. McLean. Case number is 25 CR 33908. Mr. McKinnis also has an open case, 24 CR 004034H, in which he received a $5,000 signature bond through the jail. Anything else, Mr. Howard?
I got 2 felony probation holds, several probation violations. On probation for theft by taking financial transaction, card fraud, dumping biomedical or hazard waste. It's 25 SC 000197. 2 FTAs from last year.
Mr. Nixon, what's the recommendation? I understand this is the cell phone. Has it been returned?
I think she did get the cell phone returned
Okay.
at that time.
Right. Tia, what else would you like to tell us?
No, just simply and briefly putting the facts on the record. June 17th is when this occurred. The cell phone was stolen. It was an iPhone 15 from the gas station, and it was located as previously mentioned. I wanted to highlight I think 2 FTAs in 2024. The 2025, there's actually 2 theft by takings on those counts, and was on 12-month probation there, as well as a 2024 simple battery arrest that I researched. It was a $5,000 SOB through the jail on that one, as well as the warrants that were pointed out. And as such, the state is going to recommend a $2,500 surety for the theft by taking. No further contact with the victim, that's Tierra Ayers, that's Ayers. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons were out on bond. An anti-theft course. And if Miss Ayers is on the Zoom, the state would ask that the court sound for her.
Tiara Ayers, if you're on Zoom, if you'd like to chime in, please unmute and start your video. Mr. McLean, what's the recommendation? Are you unmuted, sir?
Thank you, Your Honor. Considering the item and the fact that it was returned and it was one item, we would like to propose a signature bond to the court. Mr. McInnes has been through 1 year of college studying network administration. He has worked in the construction industry and in the food service industry. Thank you.
Right, bond is set at 500 is a surety bond, no contact with Tiara Ayers, and we're going to reset this case and the other case, 24 CR 4034H, to the SAP calendar.
That'll be July 1, is that?
I'm sorry, the case number is 24 CR 004034H.
Thank you.
And that reset date is July the 1st, is it?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Position 15, Mr. Smith.
15? Okay.
15, yeah.
Isaiah Smith's case is 25 CR 003395G. Mr. Smith is accused of multiple misdemeanor offenses stemming from a June 17th, 2025 incident. It's 2 counts of battery family violence and 4 counts of simple battery family violence. Mr. Smith, you've been advised of your rights. Your attorney is Mr. McLean. Any priors?
Got 16 adult arrests, 2013 following too close conviction, 2012 speeding conviction, 2011 failed to appear. I didn't go past 2011.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Nixon?
Yes, Your Honor. This occurred on June 17th, 2025. Officer responded to 8060 ADAIR Lane, apartment 3410, reference to a domestic. And upon arrival, officers could hear an active domestic dispute coming to the apartment. Officers observed Mr. Dixon, Jeffrey Dixon, that's the victim, with a cut on his face and a bruise on his right eye that was obviously fresh. The defendant had blood on his white shirt. It was reported that a verbal argument spiraled, and the defendant stated that he grabbed the back of Mr. Dixon's neck and escorted him to the living room and to sit him down. Now, the defendant stated Mr. Dixon struck the defendant in the face with his hands, and the defendant then described Mr. Dixon pushing him into the living room and then biting his finger. The defendant admitted to biting the face of the victim, Mr. Dixon. Mr. Dixon was punched in his right eye. Officer spoke to Mr. Dixon, the victim, and stated that instead of being escorted into the room by the neck and sat down, he was actually grabbed by his neck and dragged into the living room. The officer observed red markings on Mr. Dixon's neck that were in the form of fingers. Additionally, officers observed a bruise on Mr. Dixon's right eye with a bite mark surrounding it. Mr. Dixon had a scratch on his right nose. It was reported that Mr. Dixon stated that the defendant punched him 5 times in the face. Mr. Dixon stated that the defendant stuck his fingers inside of his mouth and was pulling on his mouth. And that's when Dixon stated that he bit down on the defendant's fingers so that he could stop the defendant from pulling from what was happening. Dixon stated further that there were past occurrences that the defendant was doing the exact same thing 2 weeks ago and 1 month ago from the incident. And Mr. Dixon stated that biting the defendant's fingers was to prevent him again from pulling on his mouth. Officers stated that the defendant was indeed the primary aggressor in this incident. And although there are some priors in Georgia, the victim has reported that he has had to defend himself in prior attacks by the defendant. He's also had to bite him on other occasions to actually stop the assault. As such, and per the facts in this case, Your Honor, the state is going to recommend a $1,500 surety for the battery family violence, another $1,500 surety for the other battery family violence, and $500 surety on each count of the simple battery family violence. No further contact with Jeffrey Dixon. A stay away from 8060 Adair Lane, apartment 3410. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons were out of line, as well as FVIP. The state would ask the court to sound for the victim when appropriate.
All that biting, is there any parts of him left? Good heavens. Mr. Dixon, are you on Zoom? This will be the time to unmute and start your video. Mr. McLean?
Full. Are we on? Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Smith is 34. He has a Georgia address, Georgia driver's license. He's been in Georgia quite a while. Your Honor, he has a MBA from a nationally recognized university. In other words, just a university of another state. He has worked since 2014 as an operations manager for an internationally recognized Fortune 500 company, a company that's in the financial area. We would ask the court to consider the lowest possible bond. If that is a signature bond, that is what would be super, but if it is not, we would ask for a $1,000 surety bond.
All right. On count one, battery family violence, that's going to be 2,500. The simple battery charges are each going to be 1,000. And the last count of battery family violence, that's 2,500. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a $9,000 signature bond through pretrial services level 3. No contact with Jeffrey Dixon and stay away from 8060 Adair Lane in Sandy Springs. He's allowed a one-time visit with a police officer to retrieve his belongings, but within 30 days, he must update the court with his new address. Also within 30 days, he is to enroll in a domestic violence intervention program and attend and complete all 26 classes at his expense without missing or skipping them. He reports to pretrial once a week. He is also to, I can't remember whether there was an allegation of any kind of, was there an allegation of intoxication, Mr. Nixon? I can't remember.
Yes, alcohol was involved.
On both parts? Both sides?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So within 10 days of being released, Mr. Smith will also undergo an alcohol and drug evaluation and submit himself to any treatment that's required. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, and no firearms. Mr. Smith, your current bond is $9,000. You don't have to pay for it today, but you will have to report to pretrial and complete these conditions. If you fail or you violate these conditions, the $9,000 signature bond will be revoked, and it either could convert to a surety bond or a cash bond. Your next court date will be sent to your new mailing address, since you're not allowed to live at Adair Lane for the near future. Thank you.
Okay.
I got position 11, Mr. Reginald.
Okay. I haven't heard a peep from ACDC yet, Deputy, so I'm assuming all's okay right now?
Yes, they're gonna come on last, Judge.
Okay. Daniel Reginald is accused of criminal trespass causing damage to property, theft by taking, and criminal trespass. Case number 25 CR 3392H. Mr. Reginald, you've been advised of your rights, and your attorney is going to be Mr. McLean. Any priors, Mr. Howard?
15, 2024 simple battery DV. First offender. Think he's on probation for that in Clayton County.
Okay.
2013 battery DV conviction.
Thank you. And do we have a Clayton hold at the present time?
I think it's that probation. I'll look while y'all go.
Thank you. Mr. Nixon?
Yes, Your Honor. And I did note a warrant out of Jonesboro for a probation violation.
Okay.
This incident occurred on June 15, 2025. The officer was dispatched to 665 Commercial Avenue, and the caller, Miss Angela Ellison, had relocated to 2621 Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway for safety, and upon arrival at the secondary location, the officer made contact with the victim, Ms. Ellison, and she stated at the initial location, which was the 665 Commercial Avenue location, she was approached by her male friend, identified as the defendant, who claimed he had left his book bag in her vehicle. Now, Ms. Ellison stated she returned the book bag to the defendant. He then asked her to purchase a loaf of bread, which she declined. He became irate and then began arguing with her. Then Ms. Ellison stated that the defendant knocked her cell phone out of her hand and picked it up from the ground. She repeatedly asked him to return the phone, but he refused. The defendant then climbed on top of the hood of her vehicle. It was a Hyundai Santa Fe, and broke off her both her windshield wipers, and then began striking the front of the windshield with his fist. Fearing for her safety, she drove off. And then later, a gray book bag was found next to the defendant, and inside that book bag was the cell phone. Just as pretrial stated, I've noted the simple battery from 2024 that's he was on first offender for, or is on first offender, as well as several other battery-related offenses and arrests going back to early 2000s. And as such, Your Honor, the state is going to recommend a $2,500 surety bond for the criminal trespass, damage to property, a $2,500 surety for the theft by taking, and a $1,000 surety for the criminal trespass, damage to property. No further contact with Angela Ellison, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond, anger awareness, as well as we would like the court to sound for the victim when appropriate. That's all from the state.
Angela Ellison, if you're on Zoom, this is the time to unmute and start your video. No? Mr. McLean?
Thank you, Your Honor. His name is actually Reginald Daniel.
Oh, the other way around? Okay.
I just had it backwards. Your Honor, he has a 10th grade education, and he remodels houses. That's what he does for a living. He's done so for at least 5 years. I always ask people what they've done the last 5. He would like to ask the court to give him a signature bond if that is possible. And if it's not, then he would ask the court to consider a surety bond in the range of $1,000 or $1,500 or $2,000.
Okay. On the criminal trespass causing damage to property, it's going to be 1,000. The theft by taking is 500. Criminal trespass is 500. This is a $2,000 surety bond. No further contact with Angela Ellison. Stay away from 665 Commercial Avenue in Northwest Atlanta. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. His next court date is July 1st.
You got a $2,000.
I got position 12, Mr. Ross.
$50 to get you out of jail.
Your Honor, could we hold Mr. Ross until the end of the calendar, if possible, or have we reached the end of the calendar?
Deputy, Mr. Ross is a PI case. They want to hold it up to the end when we stop the live stream.
But we go to position 13, Mr. Scott.
Okay, got it. This is Quintavious Demario Scott, accused of 2 counts of battery, family violence, 2 counts of simple battery, family violence, and 1 count of cruelty in the 3rd degree from September 28th, 2023. Mr. Scott, you've been advised of your rights. Your attorney is going to be Mr. McLean. Any priors, Mr. Howard?
Second. You got a 2022 drug charge, firearm. That was dismissed.
All right. Mr. Nixon?
Yes, Your Honor, and I did notate a warrant out of Jonesboro for a contempt of court. This occurred on September 28, 2023. Officers responded to a dispute at 311 Scott Street, Unit 99. Upon arrival, the officer met with the caller, Jalecia Simpson, who stated she had been in a physical altercation with the child's father, the defendant. Ms. Simpson stated that she called the defendant sneaky, which caused a verbal argument, and she stated that he grabbed her by the throat and put her in a headlock, causing her not to be able to breathe. She stated he also struck her in the face multiple times with a closed fist. And once her father, Mr. John Simpson, broke it up and began calling the police, he fled the location. Mr. Simpson stated he heard a commotion coming from his daughter's room. Once he entered the room, he saw the defendant on top of Ms. Simpson, striking her. He then broke up the fight and told the defendant to back up. The grandson, initials QS was present during the altercation as well. Officer did observe multiple abrasions to her face and neck and a busted lip, and she had a visible knot above her right eye. Our office did speak with the victim. The victim and the defendant are in a relationship. They live together, but no longer live at this particular incident location. They share 2 children. The victim confirmed the events in the warrant, but stated that she does not remember everything. She stated that she and the defendant had been living together since the incident, and there's been no violence since then. Victim stated that this has never happened before and stated she is not in fear of the defendant and wants to continue contact with the victim. I believe the victim will be on Zoom. Per the allegations and the just the facts in this case, Your Honor, the state's going to recommend a $500 surety bond for each count. And that's for the battery, family violence, cruelty to children, a third, the additional battery, family violence, and the simple battery, family violence. No further violent contact with the victim, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond, as well as FVIP. And the state was asked that the court sound for the victim when appropriate.
All right. Jalecia Simpson, if you're on Zoom, this is the time to start your video. Mr. McLean, it's going to be a $5,000 total signature bond through pretrial services level 1. No violent contact with Jalecia Simpson. He is to enroll in a domestic violence intervention program within 30 days of being released, and he's to attend and complete all classes to completion. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no firearms, and he reports to pretrial once a month. Unfortunately, he's got a Clayton hold, so he needs to resolve that and then start reporting to pretrial once a month.
I'll answer the questions that I do this. It's somebody else with my name.
Judge, that's a $5,000 SOB
Yes,
pretrial.
1,000 on each count. All right, I'm just going on to ACDC. ACDC, who do we have?
We have Ms. Shaw.
Okay.
Ms. Shaw.
This is State versus Rayona Shaw, accused of criminal trespass causing damage to property on June 12, 2025, case 25 CR 3329A. Ms. Shaw, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, Ms. Tucker or Mr. McLean will be representing you. Ms. Tucker, is this your client?
It's Mr. Mike McLean.
All right. I'm sorry, Mr. McLean? This is Miss Rayona Shaw with position 14, criminal trespass causing damage to property. Any priors, Mr. Howard?
You got 10 total. Open criminal damage to property, 25 PI 002985. On probation for theft by taking. 2023 failure to appear. 2019 simple battery disorderly conduct trespass conviction.
Mr. Nixon?
Yes, Your Honor. Briefly, this occurred on June 12, 2025. Officers were dispatched to a criminal trespass call at 875 Oak Hill Avenue. That's a 7 real estate group there located there at that location. Upon arrival, the officer spoke with the broker, Mr. Tom, last name spelled Mohrbaccher, who advised that he arrived to the property to check on it. While there, he advised that the rear window to the house was opened with a chair near the window. Officers cleared the property and observed a woman, the defendant, and gave verbal commands for her to get on the ground and place her hands behind her back. I've notated a 2023 FTA as well, and the 2025 criminal damage to property, second degree. She received a UGR through pretrial services level 2 by Judge Hughes. As such, Your Honor, the state's going to recommend a $1,000 surety for the criminal trespass and damage to property. So we want the bond to remain the same or as previously set. Stay away from 875 Oak Hill Avenue in Atlanta. A social worker visit to address any needs. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
Mr. McLean, any objection to the $1,000 surety bond?
Your Honor, we would like to ask the court if there's any way per judge or any way to get a signature bond, because we do have a stable Campbellton Road address. We have her aunt, her niece, her grandmother, plenty of local contacts. These
May
people,
I have an adult relative to whom she could be released?
I haven't reached them yet. I have left a message, but I haven't heard back from them yet because I have a Sim Street address for the aunt and the niece, and the grandmother, I believe, is going to be the Campbellton address. So we're still trying to get a hold of the family. Social worker visit's fine, but we will have our social worker coordinating with the family itself to see if she can live on Campbellton. She gets her mail there, and I believe she resides there to some extent.
All right.
Now, she has gone to Atlanta Area Tech
Mhm.
College called UEI. She has had some vocational training. She has worked in warehouses and restaurants, and hotel industry, hospitality industry.
What employment status currently?
I believe she is unemployed at the moment.
Okay, thank you. We'll need to have one of our family members verify so that we can release her to their care. Presently, her bond is going to be set at 1,000. It is a surety bond. No further contact with what's his name? Tom Birch. Stay away from 875 Oak Hill Avenue. And her next court date is July 1st.
And Your Honor, that last name is Mohr Bacher.
How do you pronounce it?
Your guess is as good as mine. It's Mobacher.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you, Debbie Milton. It's $1,000 surety bond. Her next court date is July 1st. If her family member contacts, we can revisit the bond. She'll need a social worker visit. Thank you. Deputy in courtroom 2?
Yes, Judge, I have Ms. Taylor Bryce. I think they were trying to add her on the calendar.
Who is that, Bracy?
Yes.
Courtroom 2, that case will have to be reset to tomorrow. We are still working on that. She has had a first appearance in municipal court, so there is not a Riverside issue at this point, since she has had a first appearance yesterday in municipal court.
What was her bond?
Her bond, Your Honor, was, I want to say 4,000. Let me just double check and make sure that's correct. But I do not have a history. I don't know if pretrial does, but I do not. And that was part of the issue of why we're trying to fix that. That was the case I raised earlier
I
at
got
the
it.
beginning of court. It's a $3,500 surety bond.
Okay.
Y'all want the history
Yes, please.
for a total? She got an open vice charge, 2024. 2024 drug paraphernalia conviction. 2023 failure to appear.
Okay. We'll leave the bond as is, and her next court date is tomorrow, I gather, pending accusation, correct?
Yes, that is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Got position 12, Mr. Ross.
Is this the last case on the calendar? Deputy, is this the last case on the calendar?
Last case and then a waiver, Judge.
Okay. Miss, I'm not sure who's hosting. Is it Miss Grace? Yeah, Miss Grace, could you stop the live stream, please? No. Nope.